What's up, everybody? It is Josh Lucas, the coach, the premier armchair quarterback and coach of the Cleveland Browns. This is week one, the very first not instant reaction video. Most people do instant reaction videos, instant reaction tastes. Their thumbs get to doing work, and they post their undigested and heat of the moment opinions of the game, and I don't do that. I don't do that on purpose. I would like to digest my food before I swallow it and talk about it, make sure everything makes sense. So now, the next day, I've been able to sleep on it, and now I can talk about the Cleveland Browns' victory over the Carolina Panthers. The first thing that stood out to me is, number one, you have to be able to soundly put a team away, and I think that's really the only negative that I can come away with from the Browns' performance. Is you had a team on the ropes, and even the commentators were talking about how it seemed like the Browns had their way with the Carolina Panthers, that they dominated all facets of the game, but then at the end of the game it came down to a kick. The Panthers took a late lead. Those are the types of things that should never happen if you know how to put a team away. And I think that if this same thing would have happened against a better team, the Browns may not come out as fortunate as they did, going against a not very good Carolina Panthers team. And don't get it wrong. Don't get it mistaken. They are not a very good team, the Carolina Panthers. I did enjoy seeing Baker Mayfield throw passes that were off of the backs of his own linemen when he's not wearing a Browns jersey. That was entertaining to me. I'm tired. I was tired of seeing that happen when he was in the Browns uniform. He threw an interception. I mean, he looked very much like the Baker Mayfield that we saw with the Cleveland Browns over the last season or so, and there's no injury to say that was the reason why this time around. What I can't stand so far, and this is my big take, this is the thing that I want to talk about mostly, is that the instant takes that you got, the keyboard warriors after the game, they go onto Facebook and they go onto social media and they start talking about how Cade York is the savior, but Jacoby Brissett is not the answer, and he stinks, and he's not very good, and blah, 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 blah. I can't stand that. He just won a football game. His offense put up 28 points. That's, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a 58-yard field goal, a chip shot field goal, or a touchdown, he was the leader of an offense that put up 28 points, which is not bad. I'll take that. He didn't turn the ball over. I'll take that. And he got a W. I will take that. Give me that every week until Deshaun Watson comes back, and I will be 100% okay with that. Now, I think some of the things that you saw where he missed open wide receivers, those can be frustrating, and you're allowed to be frustrated with that. But once the dust has settled and you have a W, and you're 1-0 for the first time in almost 2 decades, and next week you're going to go up against a bad Jets team where you have a realistic opportunity to be 2-0 to start the season, and your quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, puts you in the position to be that way, then I feel like you have to be happy with that. You can't. I'm not. And the other thing is, he's a backup quarterback that's been thrust into this position where he has to start. I mean, he's not supposed to be Deshaun Watson's caliber. He's not supposed to be Tom Brady's caliber. He's not supposed to be Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or any of those. I mean, he's not supposed to be. What he's supposed to do is exactly what he did. He managed the game. He didn't turn the ball over. He scored 28 points and allowed the Browns to win the game through good defense and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and Cade York. Like, that's what you want out of Jacoby Brissett, and that's what he gave you, and you're still mad at him for not being, football Jesus like Josh Allen. Like, that's not going to happen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He never will be Patrick Mahomes. And for you to expect him to be Patrick Mahomes is irresponsible on your part, and you're just going to be disappointed every time you see him. You have to be able to look at him and his performance and say, that's exactly what we need. Somebody who's not going to turn the ball over, who's not going to take unnecessary risks, who's not going to throw the ball into the backs of our offensive linemen's helmets, who's going to be able to go to the right spot on the offense. See, that's the thing. He may have missed some people, but wide open wide receivers that would have been big splash plays, and you would have felt really, really good about it. But he went to those plays. Like, he threw the ball where it was supposed to be, and it didn't connect. Last year, there was people running wide open all over the field that never even got looked at. So I feel really confident in sticking by my guns when I talked about Jacoby Brissett earlier this year and saying that he is going to be just fine, that he deserves to be the starting quarterback, and that he is going to progress and get better and be a really good quarterback for the first 11 games of this season. So much to the point where I think he is going to solidify himself as a viable starting quarterback in this league for people next year who might be looking for somebody to bridge the gap at the quarterback position if they don't think they can get somebody through the draft or something along those lines. All right, back to the game. Nick Chubb looked amazing. I love the way that Kevin Stefanski used Nick Chubb. Too many times last year did we come away from games saying, man, we have the best 1-2 punch in the league in the run game. Why don't we run the ball more? And I can't say that this time. You know, we ran the ball effectively and we ran the ball frequently, and that's very, very good. Now, last year, what a lot of people did is they would stack the box and play zone defense behind that. And what that allows defenses to do is you have a lot of people up front and ready to play the run, but then they still have pass responsibility first. So it allows you to kind of cheat, and you get to be in an advantageous spot against the run, but you're still, you know, protecting yourself against the pass, and you're good to go. Carolina, for whatever reason, didn't really do that. They stacked the box in certain situations, but it wasn't their base defense. It allowed the Browns to really get some good creases in the run game, and I can't be happier about that. And then again, a lot of people were thinking, well, how effective is Kareem Hunt going to be after he asked for a trade? To me, that was a non-issue. And I mean, I think he was fantasy-wise the best player on the Browns offense. Even though Nick Chubb was the bell cow running back, you know, I think Kareem got in twice, I believe, right? So kudos to the play calling, the offensive play calling. That's another thing that people have always been complaining about. I'll never get over the fact that Browns fans complain so much about their team, even in wins. It's mind-boggling to me. But that was another thing from last year that was a reoccurring theme was play calling. I thought the play calling was very, very good. I'm a big fan of going forward on fourth down in our own territory. The analytics suggest that you're going to succeed more often than you fail, and the reward outweighs the risk. I don't know how much more we're going to see that. I think over the last year they got very comfortable with doing it. But I think they were kind of forced into being comfortable with doing it because they didn't have a kicker. Obviously now Cade York is a superstar in the making in the kicker position, and I think, you know, you get a 50-yard field goal. Stefanski may be more inclined now to just go ahead and kick the field goal with a kicker that you can rely on and get 3 points rather than go for it from, you know, 4th and 4 on your own 45 or something like that, or on your own 40. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that progresses. Defensively, man, for the first 3 quarters, really, I thought it was going to be just an absolute defensive, you know, masterpiece. There was a couple, and really it was. I mean, there was a few blown plays. The big 78-yard pass to Robbie Anderson from Baker Mayfield was a blown coverage by John Johnson III. I could have made that throw had I have the arm strength. You know, the dude was wide open. I mean, wasn't anything special that Carolina did. They just noticed the guy running, alone in the middle of the field and chucked the ball up. So that was a kind of an eye-opener there, that there maybe the communication needs to be a little bit better on the back end. But for the most part, that wasn't an issue. It was just on that play, and they capitalized on it. And Christian McCaffrey's a good player, and they kind of kept him in check too. I think the Browns defense is going to be just fine. We're looking forward to next week at the Jets, or at home against the Jets. And man, I tell you what, if they play the same brand of football that they played this week against the Jets, that'll be a W. But obviously, you're going to want them to progress. You don't want them to be the same caliber. You want them to get better every week. So if we could tighten some things up on defense, Jacoby Brissett gets a little bit more comfortable. Keep in mind, Jacoby Brissett only played 1 quarter of preseason football before starting this game. So he's got to shake off the rust too. And I think a lot of those things where you saw maybe the balls being underthrown or overthrown on those wide open wide receivers, that might be more of a rust thing. I'd rather him throw those balls to those people and have it be a little bit rusty and not connect, than for him to not see them and not throw the ball there. And it's really encouraging to me that Jacoby Brissett was able to read the defense, see the open wide receiver, and make the throw, whether or not it connected or not. It's encouraging, rather than, him looking like a stud athlete and, threading the needle here and threading the needle there. And over on my left, I just threaded a needle for a 30-yard gain, but on my right, I had a guy standing wide open that I could have hit for a touchdown. I would rather him see the open guy and go to the right spot, and then work on being able to get, that chemistry with the wide receivers so that it becomes a completion. I think it's just going to be just fine. I really do. Jets next week, then the Steelers, and I'll see you next week. If there's any news that happens between now and next week, then I'll throw up another video. I'm not afraid to. But this is week 1, Josh Lucas, Coach's Chronicles, and the not instant reaction for the Cleveland Browns versus the Carolina Panthers. It's been great talking to you guys. Like, subscribe, share, do all those things, and you'll get nothing but Browns content from me from here on out. So see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.